And we welcome you to another edition of This is Wrestling. It is WWE Unreal Season 2. Lee Versage, Zach McGibbon, ready for episode number 3. And Zach, the first question, can I be as fired up for this show as I was last show? And will you be the voice of reason? How are
Usually I'm not the voice of reason. That's the thing. Usually I'm the one that loses his mind, smacks his fists on the table and says, what are we doing here? Especially with WWE. But last episode I was like, look, Lee, there were some positives from this episode. Let's not go too crazy. There was a lot of things I didn't like from the last episode too. But I wasn't too surprised about it. I'm sure there's a lot of this episode too that really enhanced that for you as well. So I'm looking forward to this review and discussing things that came out of episode 3 and especially for one road dog, Jesse James, as we continue to learn about his influences on creative.
So not only him, but it's incredible to me that Triple H, the road dog, and Michael Hayes, who has caught himself in the news for this episode, all of them, it's insane to me to think about being in a room that these are the smartest people in the room. However, let's get to it. And we see Paul Heyman, we see Seth Rollins, and we get the beginning of what the vision is going to be. And my favorite part about the beginning of this show is Triple H saying that to get to the top, step-by-step process. A lot of it, it's up to the talent. Not up to us, it's up to the talent.
Yeah. If there's anybody that knows working their way up step-by-step to the top, it's Paul Levesque. So I'm glad that he was able to really break it down for us and really tell us how you got to work up that ladder, kid. Reach that brass ring.
Especially because I sent you something, I think even last night as we record this, that was one of those unbelievable, hey, Triple H was in this match and 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 this match. Also, he was in this match. And you're like, wow. And when they got to the end of it, I'm like, what, they're going to say this was all in 1 year? No, it was all in one show, Zach. It was all on SmackDown where he was involved in about 17 different matches. I'm like, well, yeah, as you said, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start with Penta here?
Sure.
They kind of did the vision at the beginning, but then they stopped and they kind of circled back to them later on in the show. So I'm going to get my positives out of the way, Zach.
Okay.
My positives were that there were a couple of things, at least behind the scenes, down, quite frankly, in a town I had never heard of in Mexico. And we got to see Penta. We got to see his daughter. We got to see his school and the training, and at least let us see kind of a little bit of the history of where he has been, where, what Mexican wrestling means, over 100 years of lucha libre. And at least they gave me the emotion of what it meant for Penta to get to that stage. I think they were able to translate that over television to let me and others know how big it was for Penta to get to the point that he was at. And, they had his daughter crying in a good way, tears of joy in the stands about where he was able to make it and what that meant for Penta to, get to the beginning of Netflix and Monday Night Raw and coming over and just being a part on that stage. So I'll give that to them, that they were able to to deliver that message on TV. Probably where my positives end, but
Mm.
guess you didn't see a lot of positives in that.
No, I mean, it was a nice little background feature, learning more about him, and I guess that school that he runs in Mexico, and how much the goal was to get to WWE, and he's accomplishing his dream. So I thought that was well explained. I also enjoyed the use of Tool, the band,
Yeah.
in this segment as well. Did I ever think that I would see in a Netflix series Tool and also the K Quick and Road Dogg song together in the same series? I did not.
Nope.
So this is a first for me, hearing those two songs in the same series. But yeah, learning a little bit more about Penta and his upbringing in Mexico, and how much he had worked to try and get to the WWE was interesting. And also, how he's kind of viewed back in his area. And it was a nice little moment. That's the thing so far consistently with this show, is that when we actually do these character backgrounds of the wrestlers, they do a pretty good job of highlighting this is where they came from, this is what they do. Now when it comes to the creative stuff and in ring, they're very much lacking. But in terms of the actual human element, I feel like they do a good enough job of at least making you connect with the person, being like, okay, here's the real human being behind this character.
Right.
This is how they go about their lives, or this is how they approach pro wrestling. It's just the creative continues to be a focus, or lack thereof, on this series.
So if you're watching this series and you don't watch the WWE product on a weekly basis, you're probably coming out of it going, Penta's a big star. And that for me is, I think, one of the big issues is that when you watch this, you're like, and I thought they did a good job, Paul Heyman sitting in the room saying, like, here are the two things that make a star. It's not only the pop when they first come out, and it is a different sound than some of the other people that come out, but it's that 30 seconds of the comeback. Is the crowd getting behind them? And do you feel like this rush of the crowd that they're sincerely behind this person because they want to see them succeed? And I think after the first 15, 20 minutes of the show, when Penta was involved in the show, it made it seem like Penta had all of the elements that anybody would be looking for to make him a star. Paul Heyman said it. Michael Hayes said it. Everyone said it. If you don't watch the show on a weekly basis, you're probably like, yeah, Penta's a major star. I just watched. They told me he's a major star.
Yep. And they love telling you, stuff, Lee.
Right.
They love telling you stuff.
But that's the issue. Like, and they talk about the vision. They talk about Chelsea Green, and we'll get to those things. But
yeah,
I just don't understand for some of the people that, they'll always try to tell you that we're trying to connect with, all of the people who don't necessarily watch it. And I get that. You want to bring them in. So if I'm a new viewer and I watch WWE Unreal Season 2, Episode 3, and I see Penta, and I'm like, wow, that guy looks great. He clearly cares. He's got a school. His daughter's crying because it's so important for him to make it to the top. He's got 100 years of lucha libre history behind him. He's in this small town Mexico, and he's finally made it to the big time. Man, I'm going to tune in and watch. And where's Penta now? And what have they been doing with him for months?
Not much.
Oh, that's where I thought, like, Zero Miedo.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like, yeah, no fear of seeing Penta in any good light.
Boy, you talking about Zero Miedo. I thought they were putting it a lot on TV on the wrestling shows. It also is a lot on Unreal as well. Like, Zero Miedo, Zero Fear. I like to talk about it. Zero Miedo.
Oh, they said it
Zero
a million
Miedo.
times. Yeah.
I was like, I got it. I got it. Like,
but Zach, try to explain to me and I'll ask this somewhat seriously,
Yep.
of how you can make somebody look that good to what? Like, what is Penta doing now? What have they done with Penta since the first couple months of him coming over? And I just watched the show going, Penta's a major star. Oh, but he's not.
No.
After everyone told you how big of a star he is and that he has all the things that go into making a star, how come he's not a star? And that's the question I have for you.
Yeah. It's almost like you need to push a guy and actually like put the words into action to make him come across like a star. Yeah, I mean, it is a great question because, again, they love to tell you stuff. They love saying the sweet nothings to you, right? Like, they love to go out there. It's like, oh, yeah, he's absolutely a big star. We see him as a future guy in this business, right? But then when the rubber meets the road and you see them go out there, it's like, oh, we think he's a big star, but also we want him to lose in 6 minutes to this guy because, you know, we got to fill TV. We got to make sure that the show keeps on going. We're telling stories here, blah, 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 blah. You're like, oh, well, you know, you can tell me however many times you want that this guy's a star, but if you keep putting him out there in these inconsequential spots or these moments that really don't mean that much in the grand scheme of things, you can only say so many times, oh, this guy's a big star. Oh, this guy's this. Oh, this guy's that. Before people start to see through it. It's like, okay, well, he's not, they keep telling me, but they don't, you know, pull the trigger on this guy and have him win a title of some sort. So yeah, it just goes back to execution on the WWE side. This is not necessarily an Unreal thing. Like, if you wanted to set somebody up from the show and you're like, all right, we want to make sure that there's a focus on this because we want that to translate on TV here and get those viewers that you expect to tune into Unreal onto your WWE programming. Like, it's a great setup, the way that they did it. But I mean, we saw how Penta has been doing the last little bit. And up till now, as we record, it's just been, you know, he's been on the roster and he's been on TV. He's been on TV a heck of a lot more than Phoenix. I thought it was pretty funny that they did barely mention his brother, who was also there, signed with the company.
Right.
They barely mentioned Phoenix at all. But they were all focused on Penta, just like, oh yeah, he's got a look. And Heyman was in that meeting, be like, man, we've got a star here. And the classic Heyman voice, right? Where he's, the inflections of Heyman is like, we've got ourselves such a big star over here.
Right. And he basically swore a couple times to emphasize that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You watch this and you go, yeah, I believe Paul Heyman. Like, he's going to be a star. He's a star.
Yep.
I'm going to see Penta as the guy you're featuring. You're going to see him all over the place. And you don't see him anywhere.
No.
And after the Money in the Bank match, which they highlighted, pretty funny because Andrade was in that match and they didn't mention him at all. And
no.
But they
just
had
the
to
participants.
they had to show the bumps because there were a couple of great bumps that he took from Penta.
Yep.
But everything since the Money in the Bank, which is what, June, July, somewhere in there?
Yeah, July, I think, was when Money in the Bank was, at least late June.
Like right now, as we record, it's February. They've done nothing with him. And as you said, even less with his brother.
Yeah. I had forgotten he was on the roster recently. Like, that's how much they've done with him so far.
Did it remind you that he was on the roster when he came out for about 30 seconds in the Royal Rumble before getting eliminated?
By Brock Lesnar? Yeah. It was, I was like, oh yeah, there he is. Oh, and there he goes.
There he goes.
There he goes.
So I just don't get it because I'm a guy that one of the best matches I would ever tell people to go back and watch, with no offense to Chelsea Green and Penta and Lucha Underground. I understand why they highlighted this and segueing into Chelsea Green that way. But one of the best matches I can ever remember was the Young Bucks against Phoenix and Penta in the cage for the tag team titles and it was incredible. I know that's AEW. They're not going to show it. That's not what I mean.
No.
I just mean that what Penta and Ray Phoenix must be thinking at this point. Like, we go over, they feature Penta, for a couple months. He's a fairly big star. They're doing the Netflix special and nothing since. And I find this a little embarrassing from the WWE to feature a guy in your show that, again, the average person who doesn't follow you on a weekly basis watches the show and goes, oh man, that Penta guy is cool. He's obviously a star because they're featuring him. And when you go to watch their weekly television, he is nowhere to be found. Why would you do that, Zach? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Why wouldn't you heat a guy up? Because the Netflix special is coming out again. Right? When you filmed it, but, it's debuting January 20th. Maybe you want to heat a guy up. I don't know.
It's what we do.
Yeah, you don't understand what we do.
There's a process here. It's what we do here in the WWE.
So they do transition into Chelsea Green from the Lucha Underground match with Penta and Chelsea Green. And this is where things become a little bit, as the show goes along, when you talk about Chelsea, I think she came across very real. The show's called Unreal, and they're supposed to be featuring people that come across well to those who don't know the business. I think she's very relatable. And I thought she did a decent job at kind of towing the line between, she still works for the company, but also saying some things like, the balance of getting pregnant, and people don't understand that. They showed an absolute botch with Zelina breaking her nose.
Yeah, I remember that.
Did not like it. That's interesting, I think.
Yep.
I'm glad they showed it because it was a real botch and they didn't shy away from it. Yes, she broke her nose, and it's part of good TV when she came back and she's all bloody, and you understand kind of what she's going through. So I think Chelsea came across very well in this to me. I like Chelsea Green. I know she's Canadian. I think she's worked really hard. She's a hard person, I think, not to like, but I thought she came across really well.
Yeah, me too. I thought she came across very, very likable. And I've heard from people that she's very, very likable. And so that certainly translated, like you mentioned, the moments where they're showing, like through the WWE, like I was able to get this dream home being built, and this is where I'm going to put all the title belts I've won. I'm really excited to be doing all this. And I'm glad as well that they didn't shy away, because I remember that match with Selena Vega. That was not a good match.
No.
It was not very good. So I'm glad they didn't shy away from that. And we're like, this was not the best performance from either one of them. And also, correct me if I'm wrong from that match, but also you have on top of Chelsea Green getting the broken nose, but she was also like super sick coming into the match. Like she had to get they were joking about how to have the inhaler. Like, have you ever used an inhaler before? And like essentially just loading her up to just be healthy enough so she could go out there and have the match.
Well, and she said she was 10%.
Yeah.
Going again. She had been super sick for 8 days. And I mean, we've all been there.
Yep.
And it was relatable because we've all been there where we're really sick, but sometimes you still got to go to work.
Yep.
And it's not easy.
Yep. I've done that before where it's like, I still got to, my voice is all screwed up, but the news has to be read. And so I will go over there and trudge forward.
Yeah. Like I actually remember one show during COVID that I was forced is the wrong word, but
no,
like I was told that there's nobody else coming in, so you better do the show. And I did the show from home and I literally couldn't talk.
Oh boy.
And almost any of the comments that came in were like, Lee, you're embarrassing yourself. Like, get off the air.
Yeah.
This is horrible screech to listen to. And I know that like all the comments were right. But my boss told me I had to do it. So
Yeah.
like that was
Oh
it.
man,
Right.
yeah, that was the
So
COVID times, man. It was a different era, that's for sure.
yeah. So you did relate to Chelsea when she was sick and she didn't have a good match. And they asked her afterwards about breaking her nose, and you could see the frustration. The frustration was there because number one, she was sick. Number two, she knows she had a bad match. And number three, the person that she was working with needed to be better and broke her nose.
Yeah.
Like something Zelina Vega should not have done. Because she botched the move in the first place and she tried to make up for it later with something that nobody was prepared for.
Yeah. Try to do the 619, or as I like to call it, the tiger feint kick. And
one of the worst moves in wrestling, by the way.
619. Well, especially the setup for it. It's like you have to make sure that your opponent is dangling on the second rope, which never happens in any other match.
Right. Except the Bandito match.
Well, yes, the Bandito matches, of course. Right. But you got to make sure they're set up. It's like, all right, I'm going to spin. In this case with Zelina Vega, she kind of like stopped midway through and then delivered a Kawada kick right to the face of Chelsea Green and just busted up her nose. So it was not pretty. And I hadn't seen that spot in a while. And I was like, oh boy, I had forgotten about that spot. That did not look good on TV. One of the things we should mention before even that match was that creative meeting they had about Chelsea Green and for the women's US title, because they had just taken the belts off of her. And they were discussing, It was that scene with Road Dogg where it was like, man, we got to put the belt back on Chelsea. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, man, we got to put the belt back on Chelsea. And it was the same thing from episode 2.
Oh my God.
Where Triple H is like,
what next?
Well, what next? Like, I don't know. I just sit back in his chair. It's like, they're all looking at this whiteboard. They're just like, it's like, well, if we put it back on Chelsea, like, who are the competitors? Because we can't, like, the way they describe is like, you can't have it go against the Charlottes or the Beckys or whatever for that belt. If you put it back on Chelsea, and Zelina Vega would at least be somebody new. And it was just funny seeing the Road Dogg Jesse James just looking as like, I don't know. I don't know. I just throwing it out there. It just like went back in his chair with his arms folded. I'm like,
I don't understand, Zach, how people pitch ideas when they don't actually have ideas.
Well, he thinks it's an idea. You know what I mean? I had it told to me because from the second episode, somebody tuned in and they made a great point of like, Road Dogg kind of comes from an era in the Attitude Era where there wasn't really much thought about what the follow-up would be in the Attitude Era. It was just more like, let's do this idea and let's figure it out next week. Like that Russo style of booking. And that's how he got popular. So maybe that's the idea.
Zach, okay, but that guy's the head writer of your show.
No disagreements there.
Like, he might have come from a background that didn't have follow-up, but you don't have to make him the head writer of your television show.
No.
Because those two things don't work.
Look, I don't know, Lee.
I know.
It was just an idea I was pitching, and I'll just
putting Triple H over that. Well, like Polovac, he's really good because he thinks down the road. Like he's 1, 2, 3 steps ahead,
like The Rock.
So, really, Jesse, like, you thought you're going to put the belt back on Chelsea and you had no follow-up, no ideas, nothing to do. And you're like, man, glad we got this Paul Levesque guy. He really thinks down the road. Yeah, like any human being in that spot would.
You're not going to believe this, Lee, but when you're trying to create a story, you probably want to think about how that story is going to continue and find an endpoint. It's a show that keeps on going, no days off in the WWE. Now let's shoot an angle of the calendar with a couple days off.
These are professional people running like $1 billion business. Zach, stories need a beginning and a middle and an end.
Wow.
I think they taught that to me in kindergarten.
Do you think Road Dogg Jesse James knows what rising action and falling action is? Like, do you think he knows that?
No, I actually don't.
Do you think he knows what a plot device is?
No,
Do you think,
no, I don't.
do you think he knows what a climax is? Do you think he knows, these key terms when it comes to writing stories?
How basic. Oh my Lord.
I know.
Like it's almost embarrassing.
Yeah. It's amazing though how they just think so far down the road and just.
Well, what was embarrassing to me too is that they've created this belt that's great. We got all these belts.
Yeah.
For we have such a stacked women's division that we have all these belts. Yeah. And then you're like, all right, we'll put the belt back on Chelsea and even Triple H. Like, I don't disagree, but then who's next? And they went through like the next people and it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Who was it? Like B-Fab?
Yeah. Oh, B-Fab and I think it was Michin as well. I think that was the other one.
Which we had already seen way too much of Michin in the first place.
Yeah.
And then like nobody had any other ideas. Like what? Like
what a stacked roster.
It was Zelina Vega, because if you're gonna take the belt off of her and put it back on Chelsea, you'd still have Zelina in the picture and B-Fab and Michin. And then nobody could come up with any other names. Like, what? Why do you have this belt?
It's a stacked roster. It's a stacked division.
So I thought that was embarrassing. But then, they go through the Chelsea story. And again, you feel bad, even the look on her face when they said it's going to be 4 weeks to heal. So you felt bad for that character, that person.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do her any favors. And this is still, as we sit here today, like weeks after, this is still making the news. And Michael Hayes twice on the show, because I had heard what some of the things were said in the episode, but I wanted to watch the episode. And the first time, Michael Hayes kind of said in this way that, she's so entertaining, but she's not Charlotte and she's not Tiffany Stratton, and she's there to kind of help make those people. And then they went away from it. And this is where I felt like it was interesting, because after they went away from it, I'm like, that wasn't too bad. Like, it wasn't maybe as bad as people were making it out to be, but
right.
But then they got back to it. And I think after they got back to it, and Michael Hayes again kind of saying the same thing about that she's at that level, and I'll get the exact quote here, but maybe just a thought, Zach, on what Michael Hayes said and Chelsea Green's response. And she has since responded to this after the show has aired on Netflix.
Yeah, so essentially Chelsea responded with that, I had a feeling, I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially it's like, I had a feeling that there was some sort of glass ceiling that was put on me, but to actually hear it from a member of creative talk about that glass ceiling just kind of confirmed it. And I'm kind of conflicted on it, because on the one hand, I don't disagree with the analysis about Chelsea Green. And as somebody's job in creative, however I feel about their talent analysis, and I've talked about it on the show, on the main show, but at the end of the day, you do have to look at your roster and you have to analyze, okay, what are the strengths of this person? What are the weaknesses of this person? Where do we see this person down the line? Do we see this person as a main eventer or somebody that works the mid card? You hear the phrase a good hand, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes that can be used in a negative connotation because that means not a main eventer. Right. But every wrestler has to fill a role on the roster and they
Mhm.
have to fill it in a different way. So on the one hand, I wasn't as up in arms as other people were because you do have to have an idea of where you think this person is on the roster. And that's just the ultimate reality at the end of the day. So, uh, would I have probably vocalized it and to the public and had Chelsea hear it? Tough call to make. Um, I understand Chelsea's reaction to it as well, because if you're a professional wrestler,
Mhm.
I always tell people, and you hear it sometimes, it's like, if you're not in this industry to win the world title, you're in the wrong industry. Like
You should
everybody
always
should
want to
be.
get better, right?
Absolutely. Like you should be, if you're a wrestler and you want to go in, I know there are some wrestlers that have the mindset of, I just need a spot on the card. I just want to have TV time and I will utilize the TV time to the fullest advantage. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the mindset of going in and thinking you could be a top guy or a top girl, like you're not going to do very well in the industry, because at the end of the day, there are a bunch of people that want to be the top guy, top girl. There are people that are mid carders in other companies that believe they are in the main event are not getting that push, right? Again,
Mhm.
it's just part of the reality. So I understand if I'm Chelsea Green and I'm going out there and I'm showing the creative team, the management, that I'm utilizing the time that I have on screen, whether it be 30 seconds like they mentioned or 3 minutes or whatever, that I'm going out there, I'm maximizing myself and I'm getting over, that I feel like I deserve to get a bigger push. I understand the mentality that Chelsea Green has. And wrestlers should have that mentality, quite frankly, of
I'd
like
be
wanting to be
disappointed.
better.
I'd be disappointed in somebody if they didn't have
Yep,
that mentality, honestly.
absolutely.
So, and even just so the quote, Chelsea makes the most out of her time. We don't need to give her 30 minutes. We give her 30 seconds. She does the same work, which is great because she's not meant to be here for 30 minutes. She's not meant to be the top girl. She's meant to elevate all those girls to be in that top position, to be a main eventer. She's not meant to be there herself. And, Chelsea responding to that, saying, it's crazy because I'm a self aware human being. So I know my place in the totem pole with this fake hierarchy that is wrestling. But to actually hear it, to actually hear that there is a ceiling put on me, it's different. You can't help but be a little pissed off and a little upset and a little aggravated at the fact that you thought there was maybe a chance that there wasn't that ceiling, that maybe it was all in your head, but then it was confirmed on national television. So, first of all, if that's an employee of mine, I like that she's mad.
Yeah,
I don't want her to be mad, but I like that she is, because I agree with what she said there.
me too.
Because they always tell you that they're looking for something more, that they're looking for somebody to break through, that they're looking for somebody that maybe people didn't think was going to be there. And suddenly they forced our hand. And we always hear the Daniel Bryans, the Kofi Kingstons, the people that have broken through when they didn't expect it. And they had to go with it because that's what the people wanted.
Yep.
That's where Chelsea Green should be pissed off, is because if, and I think she's somewhat there, but if the crowd forces their hand to put her in a spot of being a main eventer, they're going to have to, because that's what they always tell us.
Yep.
We don't decide. The crowd decides. And that's where she should be really pissed off about, because the crowd has decided that she's one of the better acts out there. She is entertaining. Now, do I think Chelsea Green can go with Charlotte Flair for 30 minutes? I don't think so, but I'd like to give her the option
Mhm.
to make sure she can't. And like she said, I think she knows that she's not, the top women's wrestler on the planet, but she's pretty entertaining.
Yep.
So this is where, again, I'm conflicted too, because it's not, Chelsea should be mad, I don't think that they were like unfair. I don't think they were trying to be unfair to her. They were just saying that she's a valuable part of the middle of the card, which quite frankly is more than most are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really. But they probably shouldn't have said that there was a ceiling, that she can't be in that group.
Right.
Right? Because the rest of the women walking around in there are either gonna think in their mind like, yeah, I mean, WWE's right, or they're gonna come and console her and say, don't listen, but it's gonna be an issue
Yeah.
in the room. And other women might feel like that too. And it's not a men or women thing, right? This happens with the men all the time.
Yep.
They just don't always come out and say it like they did on this show. They just show us, as you said, with their lack of action with people. That's how they do it.
Yeah. And there is a mentality in today's wrestling that, it's funny. I mentioned with, you want your wrestlers to have the mentality of being a top guy or top girl, but there are rules on the roster at the end of the day. And I will say this, I don't disagree with the analysis about Chelsea Green. I think we know who Chelsea Green is at this point.
Yep.
It's not like a Braun Breaker where there's still a couple more years and you could probably see him blossom a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Chelsea's been in the industry now long enough where I think we know who she is. But yeah, it's one of those things that when you hear it, I can understand being frustrated about it because you feel like you're getting over with the crowd and you feel like you deserve a higher spot on the card. So I think at the end of the day, if you're Chelsea Green, I think you're just in a mode of just proving them wrong. I think it has to go back in the ring with her, but yeah, like it can't just be character work. Like you got to be a little bit more all around if you just want my pure scouting analysis. But
of course she does. Yeah, she has to be, because that's what they're saying, that
yep.
In a 20-minute match with Chelsea Green and Asuka, or 20 minutes with Tiffany Stratton, can she do it? I don't know that they put her in that spot, but they don't think she can.
Right. Because no matter what I say about some WWE matches, there is still a working standard when it comes to the professional wrestling matches of WWE. There is still a standard you have to try and reach. And I think that it's made clear from them in this episode that we don't think she reaches that standard right now when it comes to the in-ring. And I mean, we saw the Zelina Vega match, in this episode. Like, I don't think they're that entirely wrong personally, but
no, they're not. And here's those two things. Chelsea Green, I think, is a little bit of a victim of she's been put in this group working with other people that aren't going to make her better.
Right.
So
agreed.
That doesn't mean she can get there. I don't know if she can. But I also think working with Zelina Vega and Mishin and BFAB and all of these people, it's not making her better to be out there for 6 or 7 minutes doing this stuff. She's not getting better that way. Maybe it's up to them to put her there. So I will ask you, do you think that Chelsea Green, because of this episode and because she's kind of come out this way, she'll have more people behind her saying it's not right that they have kind of kept you down? And will there be this kind of push from the fans or others to get her, through that ceiling that they put on her and somewhat into the main event scene? Do you think that will happen because of this Unreal series?
I say yes. Because the WWE fan base loves when they latch on to somebody. Mm-hmm. They really love to latch on to somebody. We saw it a few years ago with Cody Rhodes. Much different scenario, but we saw them latch on with him, and we saw the push that came out of it. There's varying degrees of success on that. I unfortunately have to mention your boy Karrion Kross when it comes to this, where, there was a section of the WWE fan base that latched on to Karrion Kross and saying, we want Karrion Kross more on our television screens. But WWE said, no, we're not moving forward with Karrion Kross. In fact, we're letting him go from his contract.
Mhm.
So there's varying degrees of success when it comes to that. But I think WWE fans love to latch on to somebody and love to say, we want this person in the main event. It happened with Jey Uso, for how much I,
Mhm.
lose my mind on it. It happened with Jey Uso as well. I think
Yep,
that's just the way that this current fan base is conditioned right now.
I agree. So I think the answer is yes as well. And this is going to be up to Chelsea Green to play this right because I think she can push through. Now, she ultimately will have to prove it in the ring with some of the other women, like the Tiffany Strattons, like the Charlotte Flairs and the Oscars. But there's actually no reason. Like, I really enjoy Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss isn't an unbelievable wrestler.
No.
I don't think she's any better or worse than Chelsea Green. But they mentioned Alexa in that top tier around all of the other wrestlers, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know that Alexa's that good.
Yep.
I think people like her. I think she's relatable. I think they like watching her. But I don't get an Alexa Bliss Oscar match and go, oh, this is gonna be
Right.
amazing.
Right.
So we'll see if Chelsea Green can get there. Haven't really talked about the vision yet in this episode, but they
On the
do
episode titled The Vision, by the way.
right. But they do show at least the idea of what Seth Rollins. They're basically setting up the next episode with like, we got to do this. We see the future. You got to do the right thing. Blah 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 blah. It's like,
Which, watching this after what happened at the Rumble and them talk about Braun Breaker, I was mad all over again.
where
The blood was boiling because they were like, oh, we got to make sure we take the right and proper steps with guys that we see the future with. And we're putting over Breaker and his ability, right? And the goal to get him ready, right? And I'm looking at this and I shouldn't have watched it again after the Rumble because I saw this again and I'm like, these guys just talk so much. They love talking. But if they really want to put their words to action, they wouldn't be doing the stuff we saw later on. But I understand that is an entirely different review. I just wanted to mention it because it goes back to our talking point about them loving to talk, but then when they have to put it into action, it usually doesn't come to fruition.
so did the beginning of Monday Night Raw make you feel a little bit better with Braun Breaker or no?
Not much. I mean,
Okay. All right. Um, so yeah, and it's about again, they do the story of understanding the future and putting Seth Rollins over and putting Triple H over about how you need to give the youth and they want to be the next part of the industry and all that stuff. But they didn't really go into it deep. Where they did go into it though was the Money in the Bank ladder match.
yep.
And first to me, again, who's becoming quite a character on this is Chris Park.
Yes.
Abyss, as people would know him in TNA, but your favorite, one of the road agents.
Yes.
So what did you think? Chris Park was the lead road agent for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And they showed him trying to put this thing together. What did you think of Chris Park and putting together this match?
Well, I was reminded from the first season how he's very much like, I'm so sorry, Mr. Pritchard, sir. I'm so sorry. Well, make sure this is right the next time. I'm so sorry. You can see the anxiousness again in this one. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. And now you've put him in charge of 6 other people in a ladder match. Let's get the most anxious. I'm sure he's great. I'm sure. I know I don't think too highly of the 7,000 road agents that work in WWE and the 2 that work each match. This one I can somewhat understand having a road agent for, be like, okay, we want to convey these sort of things in the match and make sure that that gets put over.
Mhm.
So I didn't mind it as much. I did get a kick out of Seth talking about how he hated Money in the Bank matches because there's so much you have to like navigate and control, and he says he's a control freak, and like
Yeah.
he's like, and since I'm not in control, this is just something that's frustrating. So it's one of those instances where I can understand having a person kind of overseeing everything and making sure that it all melds together in one professional wrestling match. But of course, we are talking about ladder matches. When Seth said he hated ladder matches, I was like, you know what? I agree with you, Seth. We're
Mhm.
in simpatico on this one, but probably for different reasons. I'm not the one taking a back bump into a ladder and falling off. So,
Yeah, I appreciated his honesty
yep.
about because it was a direct, um, directly the opposite, I guess, of what Penta. I live for these matches. I love the chaos. I love the violence. I love this is my home.
Oh yeah,
And you're
which is very much true if you've seen Penta in ladder matches in years
right.
past.
But I find it interesting that their big match to get this briefcase that gives you the shot at the world title that they make into a pay-per-view on its own, the contrast between the lower tier guy that loves this type of stuff and the higher tier guy that they're going to give it to because he's a higher tier guy, but he actually doesn't really like it at all.
Yeah.
And you wonder sometimes about the creative. Imagine having somebody win that it matters to and they love that environment as opposed to somebody trying to tiptoe around the environment just to get through it because they don't like it. Now, I appreciate the fact that Seth was being honest. He doesn't have to be. But I don't think it makes the WWE look great that we're going to put it on Seth anyway. But he's the guy that we're going to feature, and he's the only guy in this show telling you he doesn't like this type of thing.
Right.
There was some irony there. Yeah, Chris Park he doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me that things are going to turn out well. And
No.
maybe I shouldn't need that. Or like if you're a wrestler and you don't need the road agent to be your confidence, but he doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
No, for a ladder match too, where I kind of need some confidence.
Well, I would think I'm not a wrestler, but I would think the wrestlers need a little bit of like, guys, we got this all planned out. Like
we're in capable hands here. We know what we're doing.
right.
Done this before.
It's calm. Everybody's got to be calm.
Yeah. So
He
let's give
doesn't-
it to the most anxious man of all the road agents to kind of look over this match.
That's odd to me too. It really is. Putting the guy that's the most anxious in charge of the most chaotic match ever.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. It's going to be okay.
He's got this. And then especially the finish when they were talking about like they were shows like, all right, we've got this big finish plan, right? Where it's going to be at the top of the ladder. It's going to be Seth versus LA Knight, and they are going to punch it out, right? And then there's going to be this big dramatic moment, get the crowd popping, but then LA Knight's going to fall off, and then you eventually have Seth get the briefcase. And the listeners aren't seeing it right now, but I am seeing Lee Versage bash his head into the microphone multiple times.
Can you hear this? Like,
yes.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. I don't know which one you want to get to first. It's quite clear that LA Knight didn't get on the same page as everybody else. And LA Knight got a bit of a scolding after the match.
Oh, boy, did he have?
And I loved it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I did. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah.
yeah,
Want to be a big star? Yeah. You have to listen.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, they were mad enough to do that right afterwards, and you could see LA Knight's face.
Yeah.
Like, and good for him. He's like, I know I didn't do it well. I'm not going to talk back at you or argue with you or like I'm here to take your scolding. It's an odd time. Like I know everybody's like emotional at that point. It's an odd time to do it because I don't know that I mean, probably have to go over it again about what went wrong, according to them.
Yep.
But man, did he get a scolding afterwards. Now, the bigger point to me, crazy, was not that. Zach, I'm going to have to get you to explain to me. I really am. Because maybe I'm missing it. I'm going to have to get you to explain to me what this big finish was that they were trying to convey to LA Knight that was going to be this great finish to a ladder match at Money in the Bank or feature men's premier. Like, was I missing something when they were explaining this big finish? We're going to get this big pop in this ladder match. It's going to be great. And if I have to hear one more time, and I feel like I'm going to, with a couple episodes left, give me another moment. If I have to hear the word moment again,
yes,
give me another moment. Like, let's just have one more moment in the match. Like, oh my God, stop.
TikTok, Instagram Reels, Engagement Lee. Think about it.
What are you doing? It's like, no, that's the end of the match. No, I got this good idea. Let's just get one more moment.
Like, gotta pop the crowd, Lee.
So explain to me, like, as I don't feel that bad for LA Knight. I don't particularly love him.
Yeah.
But what exactly did he miss that I also missed? Like, he wasn't in the position that they asked him to be in. It's just, I don't understand what they were trying to do that was going to get this huge pop that they missed, and everyone was so disappointed.
So, Lee, the ladder match. So they were supposed to have, like, the guys run out in Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and lay everybody out, clearing the path for Seth Rollins to climb up the ladder and take it. Well, that one last moment, Lee, that you were talking about is something you never see before in any ladder match. And that's the one last hope spot of the guy climbing up for that one last big pop. You never see anybody meet the other person at the top of the ladder and fight it out.
Zach, that's all I see.
Oh, really?
That's all I see. Every time.
It's a big moment, Lee. You got to understand, it's a big moment. We've never seen it before. We've never seen something like that before. And so LA Knight was supposed to climb up the ladder. They were supposed to have this epic confrontation where they're battling out at the top of the ladder. Again, something we've never seen before in professional wrestling in a ladder match. Certainly, you can't go back to the Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels match and see this exact same spot. Not at all. And so you see them fighting it out at the top, right? And then eventually it's going to be the one last punch that takes out LA Knight. And then Seth Rollins, grabs the briefcase so you could get one last moment. But instead, I guess for some reason, LA Knight forgot the common thing that you usually do in ladder matches, climb up. And I don't know if he didn't want to take the back bump that night or whatnot, but he just decided he was going to run behind Seth Rollins while he was climbing and then pull him down from behind and negating the big pop that they were hoping for, the big moment. And you see Chris Park, on his headset, like, no, that's not what we planned. That's not what I'm so sorry, Bruce Pritchard. He's always apologizing to Bruce Pritchard for some reason. It's hilarious. I'm so sorry, Bruce. Like, that's not what we planned. Oh no. And so they fight it out, and then they have this beat down, and then eventually Seth throws LA Knight out of the ring.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not a road agent to try and keep up with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Throws him out of the ring. And then eventually climbs back up. There might have been another ladder they threw in. Who cares? It was not the spot that they were looking for. Yeah. And Seth Rollins climbs up and he grabs the briefcase and totally negated this big moment.
I still, Zach,
pop.
I know you explained it all there. Great explanation. I'm still missing where the big pop was going to come from.
Supposed to be that last rush from LA Knights climbing up and trying to get after that briefcase.
So their big thing was that LA Knight was going to climb up the other side, and they both were going to punch each other before Seth ultimately won the punching contest, and LA Knight was going to fall down, and they were going to get one last moment.
Yes.
Because I've never seen Reels. Two guys at the top of of a
Right?
ladder.
You
both-
never see that spot ever.
both
in ladder
trying to
matches.
get there. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, it doesn't do one thing for me ever.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm going to tell you, I hate to do this to you, but your boy, Triple H, is actually getting to be the voice of reason on this show. Like with
Gee,
Jesse
I wonder how that worked out. I wonder how they're able to do that on this show.
Well, they're able to do it because they have people like Jesse James and Chris Park.
Yes.
And like all of these other people that are just so idiotic that when Triple H becomes the voice of reason, I like that they showed this because nothing in ladder matches drives me crazy than the slow climb.
Yeah.
Waiting for the next moment.
Yes.
To happen. And they showed it and they were angry. Yeah. But they were angry behind the scenes. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing? Get going. And that's how I feel when I watch the match. I'm doing what they're doing. Like, what are you doing? The prize is at the top. Just go and get it. Like, you're not hurt enough to not take 3 steps up the ladder. Oh my God. And so they showed that they were mad about it behind the scenes and a couple times that they did it. And I agree. This would be one of those things now that in ladder matches, like if you don't get there in time, it's like the referee, they tell them to count 3 if they don't raise their shoulders.
Yep.
They tell them to count to 10 if they're not back in the ring. It's on the wrestlers. And your boy, Triple H, was the guy saying it. Like, hey, Chris, you're not out there wrestling. You need to stop apologizing. Once they're out there, it's on them.
Yep.
And he's right. You can't make somebody do something.
Yeah, but it's my fault. It's my fault. I should have done. I'm so sorry, Mr. Pritchard. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We talked about this. I don't understand how this is. Oh no, I can't believe this.
Like, and Triple H has to be the guy to go to LA Knight. Like, what were you doing?
Yeah. I can't believe the show was edited to make sure that Triple H was the focal point of being the voice of reason. I can't believe it after all the PLEs I've watched this year.
But Zach,
last year.
Zach, I'm starting to think that he might be in that room with Jesse James and Chris Park and all of these like wing nuts that are in the ring, like are in the room with them. I can't even imagine.
There are other people in the room though, Lee. There's Ryan Ward that's in there. There's also Ed
my
Koskey.
man Ed Koskey.
Yeah, Paul will show up every once in a while to get his stuff in. Penta's over like a bleep or bleep. Like, wow, great job. Great analysis there of the character. And then like there are other people in the room, but again, I'm telling you, like I've been saying it with Triple H. I can't believe the guy that hides and runs away from the spotlight would be such a central focus on that creative team.
It's not that he's the central focus. I'm just saying, I'm telling you, when I see the behind the scenes, like in Gorilla.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
He becomes like, I don't love him, but he's saner than the rest of these guys that are like, I can't imagine being in the room with these guys.
Yeah.
I think we should put the title back on Chelsea. Okay.
What do we do next?
What do we do next? What
do you mean next? What do you mean next? What do you mean there's a next? We need to know the now. What are we doing about this next? What are you talking about?
Guys, you need to climb up the ladder. Go. LA Knight, what were you doing? Chris, it's not your fault. You can't go out there and wrestle.
What do you think about the body language, by the way, of like, you know, LA Knight sitting down there, Triple H kind of looking down on him from his chair and just, you got to go up there. This is also your moment too. Like it was supposed to be your moment as well. And blah, blah, blah. And LA Knight's just sitting there like nodding his head. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. With his little water bottle as well.
That came across very real to me because I think he knew he screwed up.
Yep.
And you know, he was sitting. I don't think Triple H was trying to stand over him. He was just leaning over on his chair. LA Knight was just sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, so the voice of reason.
Let's not get too crazy here, Lee. Don't try to get that over on me, brother. I'm not gonna allow that. I'm not going to allow the show that is selective of what it shows to you and say, oh, this Triple H guy, he seems like a voice of reason compared to everybody else in that room. Well, yeah, of course, they've got it edited that way to make sure he's the voice of reason. If I had Road Dogg Jesse James on this podcast, I'd look reasonable too. Of course I would. You and I, we would look like geniuses if Road Dogg was our third chair on this podcast.
We need to get Chris Park organizing the show and show that, and then we need Jesse James to be the ideas guy.
Yeah. Chris Park is handling the live stream of our show. Be like, oh God, I hope we don't get off the air. Oh God, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Oh, this is so Zach, you good? I'm so sorry, Mr. Versage. I'm so sorry. I can't. We're trying to get this resolved. Oh no. Oh, Mr. McGibbon, I'm so sorry. I can't believe that's not what we wanted to discuss on the show. I'm so sorry.
Of course, the show then ends. By the way, I thought the best part of the entire show was the Charles Robinson bump.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Great bump.
Charles Robinson sprinting down and getting body checked out of midair.
Yep.
It was an incredible visual.
Yep.
I liked how they all thanked him. He's like, oh, it's a privilege for you to ask me to do that.
Imagine if I came on this show. It's like, Lee, it's an honor and a privilege for you to bury me each and every week on this show. It's an honor and a privilege.
Yeah, I would start to believe it if he kept doing it. You know what? He's got a point. It's an honor and a privilege. I'm going to run. We want you to run down as a scrawny little, the fastest, nobody will run down that ramp faster than you. Don't trip. And when you get to the end, you're going to get massacred in midair. And you're going to go flying, and it's going to look great. And it did look great.
It did look great. It really did. Cena came over and was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And then he's like, yeah, it's good. Dude, that was awesome. It was
awesome.
And it was. It was great.
And then they set up the end where Seth Rollins ends up saying it's a good time when you can screw over CM Punk. And they show Seth Rollins getting injured at Saturday night's main event. Injured.
Yes, in quotations. Oh, Lee, you're mad now. Wait until we get to that episode and we start talking about this injury angle.
I'm looking forward to that. I haven't watched it yet.
I can't wait for Triple H to talk down on me, the guy that you're trying to present as the voice of reason on this show. Gonna talk down on me and talk about, this is a business, this is a global brand, and this is what we do. So we're gonna be here to work all the marks and try and tell the story. I can't wait for that episode, Lee.
So you recap this episode and you go, okay, well, they featured Penta.
Yep.
Good character building story. I have no idea why they featured him when they were going to do nothing with him.
Yep.
They showed Chelsea and didn't make themselves look great because it looks like they're holding her down.
Yep.
When she deserves to be up more. And they got their storyline over with the Vision.
Yep.
But they didn't really tell you anything about Seth Rollins, and they basically just told you that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were the next wave, and they wanted to get them in. But they didn't really tell you anything else other than them putting their storyline over. I don't need you to put your storyline over in the show.
Oh.
It's supposed to be behind the scenes.
Right. It is pro wrestling, though, Lee. You still have to promote at the end of the day, even if it's WWE Unreal.
I don't get it because I don't understand from their point of view why they think they look good in this episode. And I was angry about it, but now I'm just mystified by it.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones making themselves look bad, not me.
Yep. Nope.
I'm here to tell you about it, but I don't think I'm the one doing it. I think you're the one doing it.
Shooting themselves in the foot.
That's what I felt like in this episode, Zach, that I don't know what they did in episode 3 to really promote and give a really good behind the scenes look. I'll give them credit for the Penta's character building background stuff. And
Yep.
I think Chelsea Green came over as very relatable, but I actually think they just made a bigger problem for themselves with Chelsea Green. And she should take this and run with it. And I hope she does. I really hope that this is the catalyst for her to break through that ceiling. But I don't think they want her to. So I think they just created a problem for themselves. Hey, we're going to bring somebody in Penta, and we're going to do nothing with them after we feature them on Netflix. And we have this kind of mid-card woman that works for us. We're going to tell you that she's mid-card. So we're actually just going to create a problem for ourselves. And like, it kind of looks like we're holding some people down.
Yes. But remember, Triple H, voice of reason. That's what you have to come away with from this episode. Voice of reason is Triple H. Sure, we might have put over a character that we're not going to use on TV,
right,
or upset one of our over acts and say she's a mid-carder and can't get past. And sure, we might have, revealed how the finish wasn't exactly how we wanted it to go. But by golly, is Triple H such a thinking down the road sort of leader, and is thinking 2-3 steps ahead as opposed to just living in the now.
Right.
Our glorious leader.
So if this were me, and like, it's easy to criticize, and trust me, after this episode and the last one, it's actually been very easy to criticize.
Yes.
But I do think it's fair to say, okay, well, when people say you want to criticize, well, what would you have done? Well, just watching this episode, here's what I would have done. I would have featured Chelsea more. I would have told the story about Zelina Vega botching the bump and breaking her nose, and getting Zelina Vega's point of view on breaking somebody else's nose that she works with. And I would have gone into more of the frustration that Chelsea Green felt about not being where she wants to be, and having somebody come in when she's sick and breaking her nose, and how does she feel? I would have done a little bit more on that. I certainly would have got Zelina Vega's point of view on this. And then at the end, why are they not following up with LA Knight?
Yeah.
I know that's your bit, but for people who don't know that that's your bit, why aren't they following up with that guy? Like, I'm sorry, you work for the company. You didn't do something very well. You got scolded. Shouldn't Netflix or somebody have gone to want to talk to that guy?
Get his thoughts and reaction as he's, taking the tape off his wrists. Like, I would like to know.
I would like to know too.
Yeah.
What went on in his mind? Did he think something else was going to happen, or did he just screw up, or just get his point of view on it? I would have liked a little bit more of the story of Charles Robinson, about them asking him to do it. He's done things before. He's hurt himself before. What he loves about being asked to do that moment, what it was like for him, because he ran down at 1,000,000 miles an hour and got, absolutely destroyed.
Right.
As a
Monty Brown pounce style destroyed.
Yes.
And he's from town.
And he's a small guy. I want to know what that's like.
Yeah. Who's also 60, I believe, if not in his mid-50s.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah. He's been around a while. Lil Nate.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I want some follow-up, Zach. Are you looking up how old he is?
Yeah, he's 61.
So, guy's 61 years old, running down at 1,000,000 miles an hour and getting thrown to the wolves. And why am I not talking to that guy?
Right.
I don't know. I find that interesting. That's what I would have wanted. I would have wanted to know from Seth Rollins, like, and I get stuff gets left on the cutting room floor, and maybe they did all of this, and that's great. But I would want to sit down with Chris Park and ask him, like, you're obviously a bit of an anxious guy. I don't think that that's telling stories at a school. What do you do to give confidence to other wrestlers? What is it? Because they obviously must have some confidence in him to put him in charge of this. So right now he just looks like he's like this nervous wreck.
Yeah.
What are some of the good qualities that he has? Why do people trust this guy? And if he's in charge, go back and show all of the different things that he's been involved in, like big spots or, all the cage matches that he had in TNA, which were a ton. Like the guy's been in all these crazy matches. Get his perspective on it. And why do other wrestlers feel confident when he is the road agent? Or maybe they don't. I don't know.
Let's find out.
but that's the thing. Let's find out. Let's find out what Charles Robinson was thinking. Let's find out what Zelina Vega was thinking. Let's find out what LA Knight was thinking. Let's find out what Chris Park was thinking. These are the things after I watch the show. Like, isn't the show about those things? I guess not. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I'm just, Zach, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but man, it doesn't take a genius to watch a show and go, oh, I wonder what LA Knight was thinking in that moment when they're scolding him. Like what actually happened? What was the screw up? Talk to Chris Park about the screw up. How do they get past it and move on to trust each other again? That's the story. The story is about Zelina Vega not being a very good wrestler and then kicking somebody in the nose and breaking her nose. And how does she feel about it? Anyway.
2 more episodes, Lee.
Well, I'm looking at the ruse of the century. Looks like it's coming up next.
Oh, God. All right.
So to prepare myself.
Yeah. I'm mentally preparing for that episode.
Have you watched it yet?
I have not.
Oh, excellent.
I don't want to. Like, if I'm being honest, I don't want to, but I have to. For the good listener, I will. For the good listener, I'll endure Triple H lecturing me about stories for it. So
yeah. All right. Well, until then,
I can't wait for the next Road Dogg Jesse James moment in the next episode. So the roadie, BG James.
It's actually mind-boggling that he's in a meeting going, I think we should put the belt on Chelsea. Okay.
And then what?
Can't believe you asked me that.
You're right. I'll just sit back.
Yeah. And he always turns his back.
Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Like, he turns his back like a little child. Like, you can't have a conversation with like a grown-ass man like Triple H, the voice of reason, asks you a question.
Okay. You're not going to get that over on me, the voice of reason, but go on.
Good idea. What next? What happens when Chelsea wins tonight? Oh, man, I just can't believe he asked me that. Like, what?
Do you think the writers sit around and be like, oh, he didn't know?
They should in their head.
His ass better call somebody.
But at that point, because there's all these things in the room, right? Like maybe you don't want to embarrass Jesse James because he's the head writer.
Yeah.
But like these guys must be sitting around going, like, I got 7 ideas right now. They must.
I worked in Hollywood before I came into
right.
I worked on an episode of 90210 or something, right? And they're just having to sit there and hear the Road Dogg giving his ideas.
He's just so dumbfounded when Triple H asked him, okay, what then? I can't believe it. I don't know.
Can't wait for episode 4, Lee. Can't wait.
All right, well, that'll be coming up next. This has been fun. Episode 3 of WWE Unreal Season 2 in the books. For Zach McGibbon, I'm Lee Versage. Thanks for listening to another edition of This is Wrestling.